Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings, the Midweek Musings show where we give you a chance to respond to 3 questions we send out on social media. I'll have my little say on it first, and then more importantly, you get your say on what we should be doing after that. Interesting one this week. There's normally 3 questions, but there's 4. We'll get right into it. So number 1, with the news of Ayew being out and manager's formation looking a little bit unplayable, what formation should we go for on Monday? Now, I was thinking about this. Antonio could play on one of the wings. I don't think Hernandez is playing too well up front on his own anyway. He's not getting a lot of chances. So I think we should have changed it anyway. We should really go for the jugular of Huddersfield, obviously being a promoted team. We need points. And we've got the attacking prowess to do that with Andy Carroll coming back in the side. Sakho obviously fit, Hernandez fit, so we should definitely play 2 up front. What should we do? I think we should do this little diamond 4 in the middle. Somebody roaming around the back, I don't know who that should be yet, with Noble, Cech and Obiang sitting there holding. Maybe we can bring in one of the youngsters, someone like Nathan Holland. I know he plays on the left, so maybe he can go on the left side. Roaming behind, you know, off the top of my head, someone like Samuelson, just to cause that little bit of unrest in the Huddersfield defence. I don't know, you know what I mean? I do not know, because I've heard a rumour that Fernandez is out, so that's scuppered my plans a little bit. Let's have a look, see what you say. 4-3-3, Masuaku. This is Lukey Malden, by the way. Masuaku needs to come in as winger for me, with a compact midfield, Cech, Noble and Obiang, Arthur left wing, Antonio right. Man like Lanzini will go 4-4-2 with Sakho, Hernandez at striker, Masuaku on the left wing. Good idea. I never even thought of that. PBM 1968 says 3-4-2-1, Hernandez up top with Lanzini and Antonio. I'm sure Lanzini's out. Wing backs give width as well, as we have no wingers. Connor WHUFC just says basically 3-5-2. Brian G says 3-5-2. Rice, Reed, Collins, Zaba, Obiang, Cech, Cresswell, Antonio, Sakho and Chicharito. Green Street Hammer says same formation but get Holland in. Natural wide left player. I'm full of confidence. Love to see him start once. At Ricky Bobby, Martin Hickey 9 says I just want 11 who want to be here and want to play to win. Not much to ask. Forever West Ham says 1-10-0-0. Fair enough. At Claret and Blues Guy says 5-2-3-1. At Rhode Island Iron says 3-5-2. At Enigma UK Mike says 3-5-2. Reed, Ogbonna, Zaba, Byron, Cresswell, Obiang, Lanzini if fit. I'm pretty sure he's not. Kia A, Chica, Antonio, Carroll on at 70 minutes if needed. Sarah the Bastard says 4-4-2. Carroll joining Little P up top. I'll take a couple more on this. Josh Stevens says, in my fantasy classic land, 4-4-2 with Andy and Cheetah up front and Holland in a wide left midfield role. At Paul McMahon says, assuming Lanzini out, 3-5-2. At JJ45WHUFC says, I think we should go with a solid 4-4-2 and Sakho and Chicharito up front. We should put Cech in the defence. And I'm going to take one more. At R1 Games says 4-3-3 or 4-4-2. Need something different. Getting overrun in midfield. In the middle of the park with just 2 midfielders, Obiang, Noble, Kayate, could work. Right. So I ain't got a clue, but you seem to be very sure about what we should be playing. At number 2, should we be getting into a court row with Sporting Lisbon? Have we had enough without the danger of dragging our name through the press? No. Basically, we should not be getting into a court row with any club over liability claims. Now, let's be fair. I'm going to put this out there straight away. If anyone's going to sue for lies told, it should be the West Ham fans, because not only have we had lies told to us, but I'm sure they could. But Dan, would you agree with this? They could be done under the Trade Descriptions Act of what we got sold in the summer. Yeah, we shouldn't be bothering ourselves with things like that. We've got enough problems on the field and off of it, to be quite honest, without getting these petty little rows with these clubs. If you've made a bid, he said you haven't, need proof. Again, proof hasn't been made, and the guy said it again. He's you know, he's sticking to his guns. He's saying, look, we should be questioning for proof. Who gives a shit? Let's be honest. Who gives a monkeys about whether we bid or not, All we know is we didn't get the player, and we should, and we had the funds and the time, even though they would dispute, to get him, and it hasn't been done. I know, I believe anyway. Let's have a look at you, see what you guys have said. At Jack Laboo 66, bit silly to do, but if it's a lie, can see why David Sullivan is doing this, as they just didn't call him out for being a liar. They insulted him loads. Get used to it. At Sexy Lanzini, it will be great in the press. It won't be great in the press, but if we have evidence on paper and David Sullivan wants to clear his name, let him, I guess. At PBM 1968, waste of time and money. It's just to protect Sullivan's ego. If a bid of €40 million was sent directly to Sporting, not via the agent, no issues. At Jimbo Norwood says maybe the fans should get into a court row with the owners over the lies they have told us. At Eddie Wilson, Snoop Wing says Sullivan never put a serious figure on the table. So if the figures do get published, he'll look a right nutsack. He should walk away. At Rhode Island Iron again says she said nonsense. Move on. At TGO Mitch says no, so pointless and just trying to take the attention away from the main factors at the moment. At Joe Cazell says another vain attempt to protect his personal reputation. If you were a club, would you want to do a deal with West Ham after this? Capital letters, circus. At Israel, it's Sarif the bastard again. I can never pronounce his Twitter name. To be honest, Sullivan should be spending that time finding a new manager to replace Bilic. Strong words. At Nick Half says no need to go through the courts. Time to get on and sort out the circus. It's WHUFC on and off the pitch. David Reagan 14 says we need to get behind our team and hope our season takes off Monday. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse. Being a hammer. At Stan WHU1 says no need. They could just disprove these accusations by publishing the bid they made. The fact that they haven't probably means it was derisory. At Macca 11 Paul says I think our board need to prove we made bids for the fans, and we know they are telling lies and bullshit. Prove it to us, not the courts. Yeah. Exactly. If you can prove it to anyone, prove it to the fans. Frank _ Ian says, good point. Would hate to risk damaging our fantastic reputation as a professional, well-run club. I see a little sarcasm. I hear a little sarcasm in that. Sarcasm. I detect a little sarcasm in that. Hammer Ben says, threat of court, just an exercise and distraction from real issues. I'm going to take... Oh, I've clicked onto the wrong one. I'm going to take... done it again. I'm going to take a couple more on this one. Right, at Ginger Carroll 9, getting into a law dispute is dumb on so many levels. It's literally clear to see to everyone that we're in deep dog shit. Invest money for players. And two more. Jamie Gill says, probably not. But with how much lies the board have told us, they're probably looking for proof to the fans that this isn't one. And Vasim Akhtar says no, because most of what they say we West Ham fans think anyway, and say a lot worse of him. We want to stop. We want to shop in Harrods and pay little prices. Right, so number 3, which is normally the final one. Quite basically, are West Ham in crisis? As we've already played 3 away games, are we in a better or worse position than last year? Now, 3 away games on the spin is never going to be ideal for anyone. Losing all 3 is probably the worst thing that the club could have imagined happening. Are we in crisis? It's a bit early to say crisis. Injuries, again, are racking up. It happens season after season after season. We never recruited enough squad depth, like quality squad depth. I'm not just talking about any old Tom, Dick and Harry from the lower leagues. I'm talking about proper quality squad depth where there's a player sitting on the sidelines that can quite easily do as good a job as the man that he's replacing. That's how you start to build a football club into a team that challenges for, you know, anything really, cups, league positions, whatever. That's how you start to rise up the table. We never did that. We improved our first 11, which we desperately needed to do, by the way. We couldn't go into the season with the same first 11. Then we let our depth go, and we never replaced the depth. The injuries are already stacked up. You're talking about, I know Carroll's just coming back, but you're talking about early on in the season, Carroll, Lanzini, Ayew, all out for big, massive periods of time. Now it looks like Fernandez and Arnautovic is suspended. We've got so many problems already, and we're 3 games in. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Is it a crisis? I don't think so. You know, 3 games away from home. You've got all of them games to play at home. It just depends how we get on Monday, I suppose. I think Monday is the telling point whether we're in a crisis or not. We lose to Huddersfield at home, then we can start looking at it a bit more deeply than that. Because any away game in the Premier League is it's a tough place to play. You know, any of the 20 teams that you will play, 19 teams that you'll play are tough places to go. Nobody's guaranteed a result. That's why it's the Premier League. That's why it's the best league in the world. But Monday, I think, decides whether we are in crisis or not. So so let's have a look at some of your responses to this number 3. Sexy Lanzini says, first 11 this year with last year's bench is very good, but squad depth is gone. A couple of injuries and we are in trouble, as you said. At Luke Malden says, we're in a worse state now and low on players. The loyal fans don't deserve what we've been put through, what we've had to put up with since we moved to the Bowling. At Dan Thompson says, gone everywhere, home and away for years. Club has been nothing but toxic mess since we left the Bowling. Serious surgery is needed. PBM 1968 says, at the moment worse than last year, especially on squad depth and points total. September is a very important month. Couple of wins definitely needed. At Josh Wilkie 93, Billich's first season with us. We only got 1 point from 3 games we've played. Let's not panic just yet. Away games haven't helped us. At Stan WH1 says, massive crisis, not just on the pitch. The whole club from top to bottom is a shambles and fans are paying the price as usual. At Telv1S, sack Bilic and the board. Yes, fans unhappy, incompetent manager, lack of depth in squad, ball that continuously lie, and a teenager in charge of our PR. Claret and Blues guy, maybe, if the rumours are true. Rhode Island Iron says, West Ham have been in crisis since 1987. That's 30 years. Janet Axelson says, as our form at the Ship Bowl was hopeless, I would say we're in the cart, yes. At Sarah the Bastard says, we have been in a crisis since we left Upton Park. Nick Harve says, crisis on and off the pitch. Managers appears clueless. Reformation and ball undermining him constantly. Squad depth is a major concern too. At Tiger Tommy says, our starting 11 is stronger, but our squad is a lot thinner than last season. At GH90WHU, definitely are in crisis, but a few good performances at home can change everything. Players must give everything for Bilic and the fans. At Howardino says, performances backbiting splits between ball, Bilic and fans, and an athletic stadium not fit for football suggests we are in crisis. Mako 11 Paul says, crisis, but love Slav, but needs to go. We need a change before it gets worse and stop papering over the cracks for 18 months. At WHU JJ45 says, squad was bad last year, but somehow we managed to get 3 points this time last year, but think we are in a good position with the players we have. At Richard Duffin1 says, think we will know after Monday night's game. Exactly what I said there, Richard. Going to take a couple more on this. R1 Game says, first 11 is decent. Worrying that we look like we can't pass the ball. Reminds me of watching England. Doesn't seem to be a team, just 11 players. Ruin our relationship with one of the best producers of young talent in Europe. For David's ego is foolish. Carvalho deal dead now as well. At Jamie Gill says, yes, squad is better than last year. Performances are worse in 3 games. Ball not back in manager and players look lost. At Rowan, Rob Tree says, crisis is pushing it a bit. I think if we lose to the others, then we are on the brink of a crisis. I have a horrible feeling that we will lose. And Philippian puts everything into perspective by saying simply, it's only been 3 games. Thank you very much for joining in on them ones, guys. Number 4. It's going to be a very quick one, this one, because we don't normally do a number 4. Does the comments coming from Snodgrass make you think that he is bitter, or the same thing has been said so many times for it not to be true? What I meant by that is, as you would have seen, Robert Snodgrass is another guy to question Bilic's management. The fact that he doesn't really know where to play his players. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He never gives anyone a chance. He's a bit harsh on the players when they do come in. What do I think about this situation? I think it's 50-50. between the two. Players don't seem to have any sort of bones about slagging Bilic off when they leave the club, and even on loan. Robert Snodgrass is still a West Ham player, the same as Reece Oxford. A couple more that have left full time have said the same thing. He just doesn't seem to know what to do. It is worrying. Like it can't be. It can't be a coincidence that they are saying the same things over and over again. That's what I would say. On the other hand, Robert Snodgrass was not good enough for West Ham United. He was absolutely piss poor while he was there. He never put any effort in past the first 2 games. Once he seemed to be a relationship with the manager was broken down, he just down tools, and that's not professional. When you're still playing for a football club, it's not professional to slag off your current manager. Wait till either you leave the club full time or you finish playing altogether, releasing the book. That's what most people do. Just to say them things to a press is both stupid and bitter, arrogant and naive. Let's have a look, see what you guys say. I know that some of you will agree with Robert and some of you will agree with Slaven. Snodgrass at Jog Hobson 12. Snodgrass did come across a bit bitter, but he's not the first player to complain about Bilic. At Enziama, Sour Grapes, the player still belongs to West Ham, so it's a bit rich from him. At Bobby Lovell 91, what he said is true. Always told those who were critical of Snod that he needs to play right wing before you judge. Oh, well, he did play right wing quite a few times actually. At PBM 1968, Snodgrass is bitter, but the others have made similar comments as there is substance to what he's saying. Hopefully Holland gets a chance. At Luke Malden, he's bitter. He's had so many opportunities, even in pre-season, which he didn't take advantage of. Poor player, spiteful attitude. At Dave Ash3 says Bilic's instance of playing players out of position and not listening to them is well documented for it to be players' bitterness. Not bitter. Bilic has played too many players out of position for it to be one-off. He's still doing it. At Nick Harve says Bilic has history with players playing out of position and shows no signs of learning from his past mistakes. At Swoop Wing says the fact that he isn't good enough. We played him on the left and right, but very poor. That's why he's in the Championship. Bitter comments. At Rhode Island Iron says both. He is bitter, but we have one. But I think we have poor backroom staff with poor discipline in training. At Claret and Blues Guy says he's a bit bitter. At Joe Kurzel says he's playing in a different position suddenly makes you a crap player. He played plenty on the right, just not good enough in our shirt. And a couple more on this I'm going to have to wrap it up now because we're running out of time. At Josh Rolfe says, same thing said so many times. Check Antonio Oxford, all been not happy in the last year for one reason or another. We need a change. 2 more. Enigma UK Mike says, issue you would assume bitterness. However, as for not training a bunch of players have criticised it and the methods does start to draw questions. And Hammer Dave W says Bilic is the problem. Plays players out of position. A few saying the same thing about him surely tells us to get rid. Honestly, fear this year. Thank you very much for getting involved on that. There was a bit 50-50 split on that. That was a good debate. What do I think? I think it's a 50-50 split as well. Thank you very much for getting involved in this edition of Midweek Musings. It's not Monday Musings anymore. It's Midweek Musings. Get involved again next week. It's going to be coming weekly from now on. Don't forget, tomorrow afternoon there's going to be evening or afternoon?
What, the game?
Yeah.
Probably evening. Well,
evening. Okay. Tomorrow evening, after I've commentated over it, the first ever Thames Ironworks Community FC League game. I'm looking really forward to showing you all that. It was a great little game. So come back to see how we got on. There'll be the West Ham week. Obviously, all the previews are coming over the weekend as we play on Monday. What else we got? Top 5?
Top 5, yeah, show.
New show, top 5. Ryan will be taking you through the top 5 something. I don't know what it is this week. Huddersfield.
Collab as well.
We've got Matt Well coming on the channel to collab with him, talking about the Huddersfield game. We'll be live on Monday. We've got a little stadium tour, so we'll come live from there. Previewing all of the Monday stuff. Then obviously after the game's finished, as usual, there'll be plenty of fan cams, I'm sure, win, lose or draw, and then obviously a post-match pint after that. So don't forget, loads of content coming up this week. Don't forget to get involved next week's Midweek Musings. One thing left to say, come on, you Irons.